Hello, everyone. Raven here. Today, I'm going to do differently than I expected. I had planned to talk about a couple other topics, but after yesterday, I feel like I need to talk a bit about Dragon Age Dreadwolf. For those of you who don't know, yesterday, some information came out, a short teaser, and a bit of announcements. As I've said before, I'm not as anxious to see this because I'm a little nervous. And I'm still trying not to get my hopes up. Now, this teaser didn't have much in a sense, but at the same time, it showed something that did give me a little more hopeful. One thing that I've been wondering for a while is, are they going to do a Dragon Age ever that goes to the different realms of Thedas? Or are we going to have it where it stays within a certain pocket? Which is what we saw in Origins 2 and Inquisition. Seeing the different areas of Thedas that we are going to be in this preview, or at least some of them, I'm a little more hopeful on that end. But seeing it and what we've heard in the voiceovers on this, in the narrations, it also gets me a little more hopeful about the story. Because I'm seeing three possibilities. There's probably more I'll think of later, but right now, just quickly after having just seen this, there are three things that come to mind. First possibility is that this is going to be all about following Solus, trying to find where he's going, trying to stop him, which we know that has to have something to do with it. Now, that alone, I hope not. I doubt it. But right now, for all we know, that could be what it is. But I don't think so. Second, and this is the one that I think would be a little bit better and I see is a little more likely, is that you try to trace him, you try to go to different places where he's been seen, but as you go, you find different sort of issues, problems, concerns he's stirred up, and you have to solve these issues to find what he's been doing. I see that as more likely. Right now, I kind of am inclined to guess that's what they're going to do. I wouldn't mind that at all. I think that could work. But there's a third possibility I still see as somewhat likely and really would hope for. From what we already know, they've had trouble tracking Solus. I think what might happen is instead of tracing Solus, you're following where the red idol has gone. Because you're going to chase after what he's chasing in order to find him. But as you go, instead of finding these issues brought by him, you're finding the issues indirectly brought by this idol. Which I think could make a lot of sense. And make it more interesting, more curious, and also make it so that you keep having more and more revealed about this idol, about the red lyrium. And not just about what Solus is trying to do. I think that could be a fun way to do it. Now, along those lines, one thing that was brought up by people is the earthquake. The earthquakes that are starting to stir up that are mentioned. In one of these plot lines, a very good possibility is this is going to nod back to Descent, the DLC from Inquisition, where so many questions were raised. So much of a mystery was starting to be hinted at, to where that we saw this sort of what seemed to be the source of lyrium. And it would almost make it as though this story could end up being more of a conflict between the red lyrium and the blue lyrium. It does start to get my hopes up a little bit, but at the same time, I have my concerns. First of all, we've heard things about the combat changing drastically. I really hope not. I don't. Personally, that's part of why I personally did not like Skyrim. I tried playing it and I just did not enjoy that. I know that'll upset some people, but I got nothing out of that one. And like I said, combat, part of the reason I didn't like it. And in that game, it would make more sense because in that one, you are going out on your own. So if you're going to go in with a team on this one, especially, don't think I'd like it in this. One big concern for me personally is because of what Inquisition kind of meant for me. As I've said before, I'm doing this channel just for fun because I enjoy this stuff, but also somewhat to help give another perspective on a lot of these games because I definitely see things a lot differently than most gamers. I really enjoyed Inquisition for many reasons, but one thing that really struck me was with the story of Solus. Because when I looked back on it, I realized he was a much different character than I thought, not just because of his secrets, but more than that. Throughout the game, you get the impression he is a wise man, that he really is a good place to go to get advice and to give you more information, history, things like that. And so you really, a lot of people probably almost look up to him. But then you find out he's kind of doing something else behind the scenes. But what I don't know if anybody else noticed or how many of you may have looked at this, but one thing I noticed, almost everything he tried to do, almost every plan he had would fail. It would always go wrong. I'd seen him as so wise and clever, and yet he never got anything right. If anything, he'd cause more of a mess. Which is part of why I wonder if the plot's going to go the way I'm talking about. Where it's what he's doing, even if indirectly, is causing these issues. Why I found this so neat is it kind of revealed something to me. One quote I found neat that I saw online, but don't really know the source, said, "We are living in a time where Satan doesn't even hide anymore, and the world still can't see him." So it was interesting because I realized, this is very, very much where you could draw a great parallel to Satan. Because again and again, Satan may have these clever plans, these wise schemes, but they pretty much always backfire on him. They always lead to results he doesn't like. And at the same time, he gets everybody to kind of look up to him, to kind of go to him for help, think that he really cares for them, when really he's deceiving them. He's lying to them. And he's ready to destroy just about anything to get what he wants. Some people might see this character and think, this is one of those gray areas, but to me, it's not. No. I don't see the gray in that. He's lying. And that's what raises my concerns, because I don't know where they're going to take him. I don't know what they're going to do with him, if he's going to maybe change, or if he's going to stay the way he is, and yet they're going to try to put him in a good light, which would really upset me. So right now, my main concerns are, 1, what are they going to do with the gameplay? 2, what are they going to do with Solus? First one, we'll probably find out as soon as we get good previews, and I'll see what happens. Second one, probably have to be able to play the game. So there are things about this that made me a little more hopeful, but at the same time, I'm not going to let my hope get too high on this. So I might, as I've said, do occasional videos on this stuff if they release more information. But for the most part, I'm trying not to get my hopes too high. What do you guys think? How hopeful are you? Which way do you want to see this story go? Which way do you want to see the gameplay go? Do you think it's going to be done right, or do you think it's going to be a mess? And what do you think of the plot lines I'm offering? Do you think it's what they're going to do, or do you think they're going to do something completely different? I'll see you guys next time. God bless.